Hi guys, welcome back to the Spurred On podcast. And do you want to hear some of the latest Tottenham transfer rumours? Well, you're in the right place then. After a disappointing weekend, sometimes it's only the thoughts of how we can replenish our squad and get better players in to allow us to play Ange's incredible front-footed, created brand of football that can keep me happy. I've been scrolling through the internet trying to find all of the little rumours and speaking to a few of my little ITK friends. If you don't know about ITK, I'm sure you do. ITK stands for in the know, the people who have little sources, little contact, and I'm fortunate to have a few of those, and they are talking about how impressed the club really are with Johan Lang, our new sporting director, head of football operations, alongside Scott Munn and of course Big Ange Postecoglou, all working together to source really impressive ball-playing young talent to try and get into our squad, ship out the players who they do not think from this summer onwards will be able to continue at Spurs to play in the style and the formation that Ange needs us to play in. So that's where these transfer rumours come from. It's really exciting to me that we seem to have all of our ducks in a row within the squad in terms of what we're looking for. Players who are brave on the ball, players who are tough and strong in the tackle, and specifically in terms of central midfield, because that's where a lot of these rumours are coming from at the moment. I think the reality may well be that the end is nigh for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Oliver Skipp. I'm sure that won't be a huge surprise to you all, but it's clear to me that Big Ange Postecoglou thinks central midfield is the absolute key to getting the best out of his formation and winning the ball, keeping the ball, and allowing us, once maybe attacking moves have broken down, to win that ball back through the central midfielders on the edge of the box, and also, of course, those two inverted fullbacks who make up that kind of four in central midfield. Anyway, getting on to the rumours. First up, Ederson, defensive midfielder / central midfielder from Atalanta in Italy, 24 years old. He's rated on Transfer Market, the website, which is really good. If you don't look at that, dude, go there and check out all of your players. It gives you all of the stats and the details. Rated at around 27 million euros at the moment. So that would mean if he was to come to the Premier League, you'd be looking at between paying kind of 35 million, 40, 45 million euros for him. 6 foot tall, so big. That's another kind of constant in the most part with the rumours that Tottenham are being linked with in terms of central midfielders. They're looking for players who are big enough to handle the rough and tumble and the physicality of Premier League football. He's made 23 appearances this season, Ederson, scored 5 goals from central midfield and made 1 assist already. Very impressive. Previously played for Corinthians and Salernitana. Of course, he's Brazilian, so came from Brazil originally, played for a few Brazilian clubs actually, including Cruzeiro, I think, as well, before moving to Italy with Salernitana and then on to Atalanta. Obviously, we've had success before buying from Atalanta in that Christian Romero came from there. He was actually Juventus's player, so we officially bought him from Juventus, but he was on loan at Atalanta. So, once again, this is something where you'd like to think, or you would think, Fabio Paratici will have a hand in this rumour. He loves scouring Serie A for top-level players who he thinks have the physicality and the talent and the mentality to make it in the Premier League. Ederson has already made, at the age of 24, over 200 club appearances across all of his clubs. So that shows that he's not injury prone, another thing that the club will definitely be looking for. So what do I like about Ederson? Well, he breaks up the play really well, very brave on the ball. Another key thing that Ange and Johan Lang and the club are looking for. Players who are just going to take it all the time, wherever they are, be brave on it, 1-2 touch, beat a man if necessary. He can finish really well as shown by those 5 goals already this season from central midfield. Really good in the air. I've seen a few goals of his where he's headed it in as well from 12, 13, 14 yards. Really good in the air. Also good outside the box as well. Curls in some long shots, not afraid to take a shot, which I love because, frankly, at the moment, I don't feel we're doing that nearly enough. The game at the weekend against Wolves, a perfect example. Loads of play from about 18 to 22, 23 yards out, but we're always trying to play the perfect pass, get it wide, play the perfect pass. Sometimes just have a shot. You might get a deflection. It might bounce back to one of your forward players to have a chance from inside the box. So looking at midfielders who aren't afraid to take a pot shot, I really like that. He's really strong in 50-50s, Ederson. Passes and moves. Doesn't just watch his pass, be impressed with it. Passes, goes to get a return. Really love that. Drives forward. His stats show he gets goals, as I mentioned, but there is a caveat. There is a bit of negative here. He is attracting interest from some of the biggest clubs in the Premier League at the moment, including Manchester United, who, of course, just signed off their new Ineos ownership yesterday under Jim Ratcliffe. Lots of rumours of them having money to spend in the summer, but also counter rumours that they're going to be struggling a little bit to spend the money they have because of financial fair play and profit and sustainability rules. Arsenal and Newcastle also rumoured to be interested in Ederson. I really like the look of this player. I'd love us to be in for him. He looks like a kind of just the right attitude for what we're looking for, and all the skills, obviously because he's Brazilian, but also tough in the tackle, real fighter. So I'd like us to go in for him. Whether or not we will, I don't know. I'm going to give this one a kind of 7 out of 10 in terms of the likelihood at the moment. Next up is a homegrown talent from Everton. We saw him have a good game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and Goodison against us this season. It's James Garner, midfielder, 22 years old, formerly Manchester United academy player, went to Everton for around 10 million, kind of 9 million quid, 10 million euros a couple of years ago. 6 foot tall. He's made 24 appearances in central midfield for Everton this season with 1 goal and 1 assist. I really like James Garner. He does things easy. Now, any of my young audience here will say, why do you care about people who do it easy? We want skills, we want flicks. I don't always agree, I have to say. Often the 5-yard ball, the correct timing and the correct weight of the ball is the key thing in football, especially in central midfield. And James Garner's really good at that. 18 under 21 caps. Overall, at the age of 22, he's made over 150 club appearances. So as I said with Ederson, it's worth looking into stuff like that, because that shows you're not going to buy a player on big money potentially and him break down injured straight away. Or at least you would be very unlucky if he does. Now, as with a lot of these transfer rumours videos I've been doing, we seem to always be linked with Everton players. Previously, of course, Jared Branthwaite, and of course we did buy Richarlison, and that's because I think Daniel Levy, and I'm sure Scott Munn as well, and Johan Lang, but they're looking at clubs who are going to need to make sales. Can we get great players with great talent who fit Ange ball and fit the squad potentially for cheaper than you normally would? So what do I like about Garner? He reads the game really well, intercepts really well, always kind of looking up and seeing whether he can get in front of his man to nick a pass out of the way of the opposition in central midfield and break forward. Breaks up that play really well. Brave in the tackle, both in terms of sliding and 50-50s. Good decision maker. As I said, not very flashy, does the easy thing. Real workhorse, loads of stamina, engine, legs never stop working throughout the 90 minutes. Blocks really well. As I mentioned, brave in the tackle. And I want to end on this kind of James Garner rumour with one thing, though. Having watched a fair bit of him, I really do like him, and Everton fans really love James Garner. And as I mentioned, homegrown, so there'll be a bit of a tax on that, and the Premier League club to Premier League club tax if we were to try and buy him. But I do wonder, and this might be controversial to some of you, and I'm not saying this should happen at Spurs, but if Oliver Skipp were playing at Everton this season, I think Oliver Skipp would have played maybe as many games as James Garner, and maybe other clubs and other fans would be looking at Oliver Skipp and saying, what a player. Because the thing that Oliver Skipp never gets is like runs of games, 10, 20 in a row. So he's always trying to fight his way into match fitness and fight to prove that he's good enough. And I do just wonder whether James Garner is that much better than Ollie Skipp if Ollie Skipp were to get games. So that doesn't mean that I think Oliver Skipp is going to make it at Spurs at this stage. I really don't. And I do wonder whether, let's say Everton went down and they didn't get their points back, which is going to be announced this week. And of course, they've got one more financial irregularity charge to face as well. Whether we might look at a James Garner-Oliver Skipp swap deal. Not sure. I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. Let me know what you think in the comments. Just before I go on to the next rumour, guys, please do press subscribe, give this video a like, and also become a Spurred On Pro or Patreon member. All the information in the description box. Only £1 a month. And soon enough, when I've got enough of you, I'm just looking to get about 50 of you, I'm going to start with the membership and Patreon-only content. So please please do press subscribe or follow wherever you're watching or listening to this content. Next rumour, Ezequiel Fernandez, Argentinian 21-year-old central midfielder, Boca Juniors in Argentina, defensive midfielder or central midfielder, as I said. His contract is up in 2025, so that's another reason why Spurs will be sniffing around him. On transfer market, he's rated about 8 million euros at the moment, so we'd be looking to pay probably around 20 million euros to get him in. He's a bit more diminutive, 5'6" tall, but really stocky. He's played 9 times for the Argentina under-23s and has 80 overall appearances at the age of 21 in senior club football. Very impressive indeed. Arsenal, again, also linked with him, so shows how we're swimming in the same waters for talented ball-playing central midfielders. He drives forward beautifully from midfield, loves a through ball on either foot, which is something that Big Ange will really be looking for, because that doesn't come enough from anyone other than James Maddison at the moment, really, in central midfield. Players who can break up play, drive forward, and find our forward players. Tough tackler, uses both feet, really skillful when needed, but doesn't always use it. But if needed to beat a player in midfield to break the press, he can and will do it. And his attitude as an Argentinian and the way I've seen him playing, Fernandez, just like Christian Romero, really tough in the tackle, just a winner. I love the look of him. I like the sound of him. Hopefully we're in for him, but he's a young player, so who knows? Maybe I'll give this one a 6 out of 10, but can recommend checking him out. Finally, before I go, the Lloyd Kelly at Bournemouth central defender. That rumour will not go away, keeps coming back, and I do wonder whether we're really looking at getting him in on a free in the summer as that 4th choice centre-back. I'd be pretty happy with that. He's athletic, he's good in the air, loves bringing the ball forward out of defence, and Bournemouth fans love him, so I'd be happy to bring him in. And then just before I go, guys, check out the Hugo Lloris interview on Sky Sports if you haven't already. Wax is lyrical about Ange Ball. Wax is lyrical about his time at Spurs, how happy he is now to have moved to LA, and how his last day at the club was really enjoyable, giving a good bye to the fans at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium a few months ago. He has lots of good things to say about the future of Spurs under Big Ange Postecoglou. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please do press like and subscribe, and do become a Spurred On Pro or Patreon member. As I said, all the details in the description box. Most importantly, come on you Spurs.